Hey guys, James here today, and welcome to part 2 of building Aluna Promenade. We are back, of course, and we're just doing all the sort of landscaping around our first cafe building here. Lots of palm trees, lots of rocks. Obviously, we snuck in that awesome palm tree that leans over the top of the roof at the very end of last part. We'll probably see it a little bit better soon. The one I'm talking about, the palm tree that sort of goes kind of horizontal from sunlit tides, and I think it's really cool how it follows the roof line just above. You can see it just there above the roof. I think it fit in too perfectly for me not to use it. Just doing a little detailing around all the sort of terrain paints here and making it look a little bit more realistic, like it's been walked on and all that. And I'm just finding a few little bits and pieces that I can just chuck around the place to make it look a little bit more realistic and like people actually go there and it's not a pristine environment. I don't know, just little detail objects around the place. But yeah, so of course this is the sort of, like I said before, the second part of the build. And again, I would like your feedback on that. If you like the 2-part builds, and of course if the building is all slower, which I myself, while watching this, it makes it a lot easier to see what's happening, and it's nicer. I think this is a good speed. It's not, I don't think it's too slow, and I don't think it's too fast either, which is quite good. But of course, that means all the speed, all the videos are going to be much longer. So a build that used to be half hour might now be 40, 50, 60 minutes in length because of the slower speed. So yeah. Keep that in mind. This is kind of, again, this is like an experimental kind of thing. We'll see how it goes. We're moving on to the next building now, which this building here is actually going to be a gym, because I felt, well, the world needs a gym. And I don't mean like Earth. I don't mean like the world needs pizza. I mean, Aluna Island, the world needs a gym. Yeah, so it needs a gym. So I thought this would be a good place to put it, because I had 3 buildings, and had no clue what to put in them besides a cafe. That was the only one I came in thinking, well, yeah, I'm going to have a cafe. And the other 2, I was like, I don't know. Arcade, I guess, was another one that was kind of like, well, yeah, it's a boardwalk. It should have an arcade. That kind of boardwalk, arcade, cafe, kind of all go together. Gym, probably not so much. But I did anyways. So yeah, this becomes a gym. It starts off a bit weird, like I wasn't sure how it was all going to work, and then it does come together in the end. Lots of little details, and it goes all right. And keep in mind, again, this is all on a diagonal. This is all diagonally placed. It is not straight on the grid, which is why some things don't line up, like the mirrors. They don't seem to line up with the treadmills, because the mirrors are 3 squares wide, and the treadmills are further apart than 3 squares because they're on a diagonal and you can't place them any other way. Yeah. So yeah, it's getting all the lights in there now. And this changes quite a lot. I do actually spend quite a lot of time on this gym, actually, because I spent a lot of time on it because I wasn't as confident with this gym as I was with the cafe. Because the cafe, I was like, yes, this is right. The gym, I was like, I don't know. At one point, I was considering just not demolishing, but removing all the objects inside of it and changing it into something else, because it just wasn't working. But in the end, of course, I kept it, and I think it's okay. So that's a little reception area there. Oh, I also just found that jukebox. I was like, oh, there's a jukebox. So I chucked it in the cafe because I thought it fit really nicely. I did those little TVs in front of the treadmills, because you generally have like a little TV as you're working out. Yeah, and that little area there is like a sort of little reception area. I'm using those sort of speakers as well, because it's a gym. You want music playing, and you want to be like sort of working out to the beat. I was going to use I was going to do like a sort of split level staircase in this, but it's, for one, that I immediately realized this is on a diagonal. You can't place stairs on a diagonal. So I was like, well, there's that idea out the window. So let's just use spiral stairs because they fit. And that's what we did in the end. And I've just put that wall there to sort of divide the reception from the rest of the gym. It's obviously not a very big gym. It has the 3 weights machines and the 3 treadmills and 2 chin-up bars if you have Showtime. I think they're from Showtime anyways. No clue, but I think they are. Anyways, yeah, you can see this is where I am struggling with decorations. Like I really, really was grasping at straws to get this to work. I was like, I just didn't know what I wanted to do, so I kept changing things. I kept doing things. I found that little chair, which I thought was cool. I don't know. I felt like it was a little chair you could sit on. I don't know, tie your shoes or whatever you're doing on the chair. I thought it was just a nice little chair that sort of fit into the area there. And again, this is the reception area that I'm doing. Just doing a little sort of seat, a plant, and keeping it pretty basic. I don't even know if they can get behind the reception there, but I mean, there's no need for them to go there because it has no practical use. That reception area, it's just to look good, I guess, is the idea. And then in the middle here, I do a couple of seats here. I changed the color of them way down the line because at first I was like, yeah, let's keep them colorful and red, but then later on I was like, that really does not work. It does not go well at all. I also changed the sort of weights machines, the color of those. Getting these little 2 rugs here because people always use these as sort of like little sort of yoga mats or workout mats. So that's what I did. Color them yellow and green respectively as little mats that you could use in the gym. Yeah, so you can see I'm just like sort of going all over the place trying to find little bits and pieces to get them all to fit in. I was trying to get that shelf. Because what I wanted to do was actually place a pile of clothes on top of the seats, like the benches there, so you'd have like someone's folded up jacket or something on there. Was the idea, but the coffee tables are too tall, and the shelf wouldn't place in the right spot, so I had to abandon that idea. I thought it was a cool idea, but it didn't work out. And you see, I also hung sort of towels on the wall there. There's like people have hung up their sweat towels as they're working out. That was the idea. The upstairs here actually gets a really weird shape, and I'm entirely aware of it. I think I could have done the upstairs a much better way, but it ended up being incredibly weird. But you know, just deal with it. That's how it goes. So upstairs here in the gym is just the shower area, so male and female showers. And then on the other side, which you actually access from the balcony, is just the bathroom. So there's just toilets in there. But there's showers in the gym area. So of course you can keep your hygiene up as you're here. This venue, this community lot is actually kind of good because you can do your working out. You go to the toilet, obviously have the shower, and you can also get food at the cafe and drinks for energy, which is good because that means you can get your energy, you can go to the toilet, have a shower, do most of the things you need to do while you're at this community lot so you don't have to go home as soon, which is always something that I find really annoying. It's not as bad in The Sims 3. In The Sims 3, they tend to last a bit longer, like staying awake and not being starving and all that kind of stuff. They tend to be able to survive longer. Whereas in The Sims 2, they seem to always get hungry and always need to go to the toilet and always need to sleep. And it was really annoying. And especially it happened in The Sims 1. They were always tired and they always needed sleep. And it was so annoying. It's so annoying. I spent quite a bit of time on these showers as well. Because I'm trying to, again, keep in mind, this is all diagonal, which made it incredibly hard to design the room. And I'm pretty sure in each of these shower rooms, only one of the showers is actually usable and the others are just decoration. Because as you know, the Sims always have to enter the shower from the left-hand side. And so if that left-hand side isn't accessible, they're not going to use it. I was originally going to put toilets in this area, but they wouldn't fit, so I just forgot about it. Did a couple of sinks instead. Got little counters, did some sinks. I was trying to fit in 3 counters. I was trying to merge it into the wall really close to the edge, but not going through it to make it fit, but it would not fit a 3rd one. So I forgot about that, and again, just did 2 in the center, and that worked just fine in the end. You'll see, I'm trying to make it work. You can't say I did not try. I honestly did, but it just would not work for me. Just did a single mirror behind it. This one, I think that's the female bathrooms in there, or female shower room. It is. I got a little potted plant in there and did some artwork in there, a couple of potted plants around the place. Just like that little hallway there is really just sort of a bland hallway. I mean, this upper sort of bathroom shower area isn't supposed to be glamorous. It's supposed to be kind of grungy and kind of filthy, because I mean, it's an island toilet block. I feel like they wouldn't get cleaned often. They've seen better days, and this certainly isn't the better day. So yes, now I've just decided to put a table there for reasons. I don't know. I think because at that point, of the gym. I was just like, I don't know what to do. Let's just go out to the sort of boardwalk area and do stuff around there. I was originally going to have those 2 large palm trees coming through, but I felt they were a little bit too big. Also, I wanted this. The idea of this is supposed to be like a seat. Obviously, your Sims can't actually sit on this because it's actually a coffee table, but it's supposed to be like a little stone seat that you'd sit on. Just enjoy the outdoors. I removed those palm trees and put these ones in instead, these sort of island paradise ones, because I think, they're much more size appropriate, and they also just fit nicer, so that's all cool. So we got 3 of those in there, evenly spaced apart, with a sort of little seat thing in between. And now I'm just sort of detailing the area around the cafe, because I felt like the area we're looking at now was kind of blank. And I go back to it later. I think I do a few other things as well, maybe. Just a few like kind of random objects. Kind of like I'm using those university things. I use those university things kind of quite a lot. I felt like it's kind of like decorative little things you'd hang up. I felt like they kind of fit. In the gym, I actually use these vents quite a lot. I rarely ever use these in my game, but I'm using these sort of ceiling vents because I thought like, well, it's a gym. You'd want good air conditioning, so I kind of the idea was that these vents are the air conditioning that goes around the room. I mean, the vents don't go to or from anywhere at all, but that's not the point. The point is they're supposed to be like air conditioning. I was trying to put that end piece on, but because it's actually, that end piece is actually supposed to be placed on a wall, it means you can't move it freely around like other objects, so it wouldn't place properly. So I just like, right, forget about that. We're not using it. But yeah, so that's kind of like a little air conditioning duct or kind of thing going on the roof. Anyway, that was the idea of it. We're just doing the ceiling area now. I get the question of how you do the ceilings quite a lot, actually, but you can see what I'm doing here. What you have to do, you have to lower your camera down and look up at the ceiling, and then you just use regular floor tiles and you can place them on the ceiling. It's actually really, really annoying and really, really like troublesome, because in The Sims 2, you could do ceiling tiles, or at least I added it in one of the expansions, and you'd press, I think it was G, and it went into like a ceiling camera. Like it turned the camera so it looked up and it was like locked in the looking up position, so you could easily change the ceilings. But in this, you have to manually sort of rotate the camera up, and sometimes the camera sort of bounces up and it moves around and you can't get a good angle on it. And sometimes it's incredibly hard to do the ceiling. But that's how you do it. You just got to look up the ceiling, and then you can place the floor tiles in. And the ceiling will only show up if you have floor tiles on the level above. So if you have a roof, if you just have a regular roof but no floor tiles underneath that roof, there won't be a ceiling. So you need to put floor tiles there, which is why you see I'll always put floor tiles on the levels above, which you saw me do in part 1 of this build. I covered the roofs with those black floor tiles. That's so that there's ceilings on the other levels that we can color and all that. And I just found those sort of little partition pieces when I was sort of decorating the outside. I thought those were better than walls, so I used those and sort of lined them up in there and made them look nice. Excuse me. And I was upset that I couldn't recolor those Showtime sort of advertisement posters. I thought it'd be really cool, but I didn't want a black sort of advertisement. It didn't seem very colorful enough or fitting, so I didn't use them. Doing some blue bins around the place. Started off orange, it changes to blue. There it goes. There it goes. Yeah, just a whole bunch of bins around the place so there is no litter. That's one thing I honestly don't understand. Like, in some places that I go to, there's like, at train stations here anyways, there used to be bins. And then they got rid of them because I think it was a safety precaution, because they're like, oh, well, you could hide a bomb in a bin. And I'm like, well, you could, but that's never happened before. I think it was like probably a bomb threat that someone said there was a bomb in a bin or something, but I don't think there ever was. Or maybe there was. I can't remember. It was a long time ago. So then they got rid of all the bins at the train station. And now it's just like, well, look, if you get rid of all the bins, there's just going to be litter everywhere. And I think risking a bomb explosion is better than litter. Well, that's debatable. Maybe not. But, I mean, look, you could hide a bomb anywhere. And I think bins are pretty important. Because the thing is, if there isn't a bin, like, generally, generally people won't litter. They'll litter if there are no bins. That's usually what happens because people are like, well, I'm not going to carry around a bag of chips with me for the rest of the day because there's no bins. I'll just chuck it over there, let someone else deal with it. But if there are bins conveniently placed, people will tend to use them. It's like, well, it's like if I'm standing next to a bin, I'm going to use it. I'm not going to just chuck it on the floor next to the bin because that makes no sense. Rant about bins. That's how we got there. Building an island, an island community lot, and we're talking about littering and bins. Anyways, on the back of this building here, because there are no windows, there's no windows there because obviously on the other side are those big mirrors where all the workout machines are. So what I did was I just sort of decorated it with those kind of colorful flags, neon lights, big sign and all that. So it still has that sort of colorful island kind of feel. And I think it actually worked pretty well. And then I also did a bunch of sort of potted plants there as well. And some benches, I think, got in there, snuck in there at some point. Just to sort of finish it off because there aren't any windows on the level above either. It's kind of like, it's like the back of the lot. There's no windows there. There's not supposed to be windows there. But we sort of just filled it in with a bunch of potted plants and a lot of sort of decorative items to sort of give it that sort of finished feel and like it's a proper place. I wish it was like, because I know you, like, obviously with university life, you can do the graffitiing. Is there a way that you can get the graffiti just in build mode? Because that'd be really cool, because then you could do like graffiti on the walls and everything and put it wherever you want, which would be a cool idea. Putting the rocks back in on this cliff face here. Obviously, you saw me at the very beginning of this build in part 1. I removed all the rocks and all the trees. That's because I didn't know how I wanted everything to go. But of course, now we're putting them all back. Doing all the flowers. I really love the way that looks actually with all the sort of rock face there and all the flowers and sort of palms around it. I think it looks really cool. And also the real reason it's there is because what would happen before is all the Sims would walk specifically on the cliff. I don't know why, but they prefer to walk on the cliff rather than the pathway. But putting all those objects there prevents them from doing that, which is a good thing. Moving over to the final building now, which is actually going to be the arcade and consignment store. On the lower level there is the arcade. On the upper level is where the consignment store goes. And I think the consignment store is the last thing we do. Well, actually, I think the last thing we do is the bathroom with the toilets. I spent a lot of time in the consignment store. I think in real time it was about half hour. I was just furnishing that one room up the top, just because I was trying to find all these. Basically, the consignment store ends up just being random little sort of decorative objects everywhere, like a lot of little knickknacks and kind of toys and that kind of stuff. So I was trying to find a really nice variety of items that I could place in there. Anyway, so we're in this is the arcade. Let's talk about the arcade, not the consignment store yet. I started off with funky wallpapers, then I sort of dumbed it down a little bit because I thought there was too many different patterns and too many different colors, because a lot of the colors came through from the actual arcade machines. Because I didn't realize that there were actually so many arcade machines. Like, from all the expansions and all the stuff packs, there are actually a ton of arcade machines. Like that one there is a claw machine. Then you got, what was that? It's like Wacka Llama. Is it Wacka Llama or is it Wacka something else? I don't know. It's Wacka something. And then you've got obviously all the actual arcade machines and these sort of game tables as well, which are pretty cool. I initially put it on the side, but then I moved them to a better place. I actually really like the layout of the arcade in the end. Got that futuristic table, but I recolored it so it didn't look futuristic. That is one thing I think is really cool about Into the Future. Into the Future has some of the most awesome items. Like, it has awesome windows, it has awesome doors, and then there's actually awesome plants, awesome everything. Because the reason they're so good is because the items can look really futuristic, but if you recolor them, they just look like regular objects, but like modern objects, which is actually really, really awesome. It means you can use them in pretty much any situation. But you can see I put the game tables in the center there. Then I find this other one, which I think is cool. So what I did is I sort of put them on a 45-degree slant, which means I could sort of pack them in a little bit closer than I would be able to do if they're all just sort of in a line. And I think it actually creates a really cool look. And you saw I was just kind of peering at it before, and that sort of lower angle. I thought it looked really cool. I was going to put a sectional sofa in the corner there, but then I was like, hang on, we're not doing a 70s build. That doesn't make any sense, because that's like 70s, 80s, and 90s sectional sofa. And I was like, that doesn't really make any sense. Just because it's an arcade doesn't mean it's a 70s arcade. Although, to be fair, how many arcades are actually left in the wild these days? Not really many at all. I mean, there's a few places you can go. but there's really not full on arcades anymore in this day and age because of consoles and PC games and all that. There's not much market for an arcade, really. I mean, don't get me wrong, there are still arcades, and some of you will probably say, "Oh, I go to an arcade all the time." Because whenever I make a statement like that, we're saying that, "Oh, there's no arcades anymore." Someone will pipe up and say, "Yeah, there's an arcade just down the street from me," or something like that. And I'll be like, "Oh, okay." Um, but anyways, for me personally, I think the only, like, I guess you could. It's not really an arcade, but like Time Zone, I guess, is kind of an arcade. I don't know if you would even know what that is. I guess Australians would know what Time Zone is, and probably New Zealand would. I don't know if that's the same. I guess actually it'd probably be like. Oh no, it wouldn't be like that. No, I was gonna say it'd be like Chuck E. Cheese, but not really, because Chuck E. Cheese has food, but Time Zone doesn't. Oh, actually, does it? I have no idea. I haven't been to Time Zone in years. Hence, proving my point that people don't use arcades anymore. Yeah, it's a dying thing. Although it should already be dead, really. To be honest, I mean, arcade machine. Don't get me wrong. Arcade machines are awesome if you've ever used them. They're so much fun. But I have two problems with them. One, they cost too much. They cost too much to display. Like seriously, it's like the origins of mobile games. Basically, it's like it's like microtransactions right there. And then the other problem is that most of the games on them themselves are actually pretty crap. Like if they had good games on them, it'd be cool. But anyways, regardless, this arcade here on this lot, I think looks pretty awesome in the end. I got that little sandwich board at the end there. It's got a little llama and I thought it looked kind of cool and looked like it fit in. It's kind of like saying, "Oh, this is our game that we've got. Our new game is the llama game." I don't know. Just getting some lights in the arcade. I actually think the arcade did turn out really cool in the end. It looks really full. Looks really sort of interactive and really sort of fun. It looks like a really fun place to be. Well, I guess it'd only be fun if there's other people there. If it was just you by yourself, I don't know if it'd be that fun at all. Just getting a bunch of neon lights in there because I think they fit the arcade really well. They have that sort of colorful glow. It just adds a bit more color to the whole scene. Makes it look really sort of immersive, I guess. We've almost finished the whole sort of lower level now. We're just doing the sort of deck areas, getting some benches, pot plants. I think we just do a little bit of landscaping here actually out the front. We're just finishing off the landscaping now, getting a few more palm trees, and I think we do a rock or two here and there. And again, finishing it off, giving that whole sort of vibrant, lush feel that the whole island has. Because if you're not already expecting it, expect every lot to be completely completely lush with palm trees and bushes and flowers, because that's what this island is. It is a fully tropical island. Here we are now, moving on to the consignment store, which is almost the last thing we do. The last thing after this, obviously, is the bathroom, like I said. Now, this is one of the things that I didn't really know what I was going to do. All I knew was that it was a consignment store. Other than that, I just started doing stuff and away we go. I went with the same sort of colors as the cafe, and actually the arcade has the same colors as well on the counters. It's like the green counters. And I also like doing that little sort of bar stool there. I did that down in the arcade as well. It's like, I don't know, it's like a little stool that the cashier would sit on while they're waiting. Now, behind the cashier area, it was a kind of fun idea. I just did a whole bunch of those little bookshelves down the bottom from University Life, and then all these little shelves up above. And what I did is I just put a whole bunch of decorative items on there to fill it out, like it was just like the sort of behind the sort of register area. For some reason, it wasn't letting me really place items on there, so I had to move all the shelves out to be able to place items on it. It's kind of annoying. Like, you'll see me figure it out in a minute. I'm like, oh, because at first I thought the shelves are too small to hold anything. Then I moved the shelves out. It's like, oh, wait, I can place stuff on them. So that's cool. So then I started placing all these little sort of decorative items, like that box there. Actually, I thought that box is actually a really good fit. Little pencils and what else we got? We got some folded clothes, for some reason, fire pokers. I don't know why. It's just there for a bit of fun. Little jar of something or whatever. I don't know what it is, but a little jar of something. That little octopus thing is sitting there in the middle as well, sitting pretty right behind the register. But yeah, just all those kind of little details there to sort of finish it off. Little teapot there as well. And that little fuse box there as well, I thought was kind of a nice little detail to add in. Now, I wanted to, because this is supposed to be a shop, I wanted to do like a display on the counters as well. And the way I did that was, you'll see me in a minute, I use the Into the Future shelf, and I put it just below the sort of surface of the counter. Oh, no, I don't. Sorry, I'm completely talking crap. Although that would work too. I think that's what I was originally going to do. But yeah, I just use those. I was explaining something that did not happen. I'll use those sort of shampoo bottles there because they look like they're on a little shelf. So I was like, oh, I can put that on top, and that works just fine. But yeah, so apologies for being completely wrong there. Using a bunch of these tables here. I love that wood texture on them as well. I use this same table and the same wood texture in the house build as well. Like in the kitchen, it was in the kitchen between the counters. I don't know. I really love that table. It's the one from Fast Lane stuff, and it starts off with a metal texture, but when you recolor, it's just a nice sort of awesome sort of bold wooden table or whatever texture you want. And thus begins choosing a whole ton of random items to put on these shelves or tables, really. I don't know. I started off doing a whole bunch of Egyptian relics for some reason. I was like, when I put them all down and I was done, I was like, hang on, this just looks ridiculous. We're not in like the Middle East or something here. It doesn't make sense. You're on an island. And it's a tropical island. It's not like an ancient island with Egyptian history. So I was like, this doesn't make any sense. And then I also started placing like trophies and all that, and a pumpkin. I was like, when I went further and further on, I was like, what the hell is this? Why did I place that? It doesn't make any sense. It's just silly. But in the end, it ends up just being a whole bunch of toys and little statues and that kind of stuff. And I think it really does sort of work out for the best in the end. Those two chests there are actually from Island Paradise. I think, I'm not sure, I didn't test it, but pretty sure you can open one of those chests and get like money out of it. But I don't know. Well, you're not supposed to open it. It's just there for decoration. But anyways, yeah, so here you go. You can see I'm putting all these toys on the table now and all these little bits and pieces. Of course, these are all purely decorative. You don't actually buy them because you do all the transactions from the register itself. It acts like a regular consignment store, buying and selling, of course. But yeah, so you can see I'm just constantly scrolling and scrolling through the catalog, trying to find something to put on the table. Oh, I found that little sort of cardboard cutout of what do you call it, Bigfoot, and I was like, oh, that's awesome. Put that in the corner. I feel like it's something that you'd find at a random store like this. We would just have like a whole bunch of random stuff. I feel like you'd find a cardboard cutout of something. So why not Bigfoot? Or a Sasquatch, whatever you want to call it. And then just a bunch of statues around the place I'm placing. Because I feel like this, like a consignment store, is just basically just random junk that you can go and pick up. So that's what I'm doing, just putting a whole bunch of random stuff in here and decorating it up, making it feel like it's a full store. It's supposed to, like the idea was supposed to be a really sort of chock full store, a whole bunch of stuff in there. It's bursting at the seams. There's no room for anything else. They need to sell all their items quick. I also put a few like little bits and pieces underneath the tables. Like you can see, I put that table underneath those larger tables because I felt like I said felt too many times there, because I felt like it created the vibe of sort of the shop was packed. It couldn't take any more because they've shoved stuff underneath the tables because there's nowhere else to put it. Also put a whole bunch of rugs on the floor just because I've made like kind of a sort of a busy or a sort of hectic kind of vibe to the place, which I think again goes with the whole sort of idea of the store in general. I think we're almost done here. Actually, we just do a few more little statues here and there. Get rid of all those stupid Egyptian things because they just don't make any sense in my opinion. I only put them there in the first place because I didn't think there'd be anything else to place, and that's why I was like, all right, we'll put these here. If we find anything else, we can replace them. No worries. Just finding a few more items. Oh, I found that sign there, actually, that neon sign. And I thought that's like perfect for the arcade. So I chucked that down there to sort of finish it off even more so. Because I did that a few times in this build where I'm going through the catalog and I find something that would fit one of the other places. Got those sort of piled up cushions there, which are really cool. From Generations, I think those cushions are. Just like a whole stack of cushions there. It's pretty cool. Getting those little mannequin statue things in there as well, which I thought was kind of cool because people were like, oh, there's some clothes there, we could buy those. That's pretty cool. Did that little floral arrangement next to the counters because I thought the colors matched actually quite nicely in that area. And I was having a look at the store, making sure it was to my liking. Got a roof on there. We recolored the roof to match a little bit better with the wallpaper and sort of finish off the consignment store. And I think that store turned out much better than I thought it was going to, considering I didn't have a plan for it in the beginning. I was like, I didn't know what I wanted to do, but I think it turned out pretty well in the end. There's still a bunch of colored benches around the place. We have those, again, super colorful benches. Everything on this lot is colorful. I mean, everything on this island is intended to be colorful. Anyways, into the screenshots now. There's a cafe. That is my favorite screenshot of the front of the cafe. So cool. And there's just a few more outdoor screenshots here coming up, of course. And we'll get into the interior soon. Do we jump into the cafe first? Or I think we jump into something else first. Probably the gym. I really like that shot there too. You can see the sort of entrance sign here where you go down and walk up to the area there. I don't know. I really love how this whole lot turned out. I think it turned out just how I sort of envisioned it in my head. Here's the arcade. I think the arcade is cool. The colors in the arcade are really awesome. I think everything goes really nice. It's got that sort of deep blue that runs through all of it, and it works so well. Nice neon lighting in the back. The whack-a-mole or whack-a-gnome, I think it was. Here's the consignment store. You can see the register and the counter there. Lots of little details everywhere. There's a store with all the items in it. I think, yeah, that turned out really well. I really like how that turned out in the end. It looks like it really is kind of like a packed out store. This is the front of the gym, the reception area of the gym here where you just sort of walk in. And this is the main area here. Colorful gym equipment there, of course, for all your working out needs. There's a treadmill, so you can see in front of us. Looking the other way. These are the shower areas up top. That's the bathroom block there. We didn't actually see me making the bathrooms because I cut that out for whatever reason. Actually, I don't think I recorded it because I was like, it's just bathrooms. And saving the best for last is the cafe. We're about to jump into it any second now. So that's the outside of it. More of the outside. But wait, I love these shots. Wait for it. Yes, perfect. I absolutely love the cafe. It turned out much better than I thought it ever would. It is seriously awesome. So happy with it. Look at that. It's I don't know. Sorry, I keep saying it's awesome, but I'm really proud of this one. I'm so excited by it. But the download link is in the description below. Thank you for watching. I will see you next time and have an awesome day.